10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here. He is on travel, Mr. Monday Morning Racer. I am your host and Dujane Bland. We are here on the Power Hour. This show 210, and we're ahead of the Gatornationals, and we've got some fun stuff coming up tonight. We've got Meyer from Meyer Racing talking about their initiative with the slow down, move over. Great initiative there. And March Meet, which you are covering, my friend. How's things going out there on the road, my buddy?
Well, looking forward to getting to Bakersfield. I've got another day ahead of me to get to Bakersfield. I'm in, I think it's Quartzsite, Arizona. Never been here before. Interesting little stop. And there was a McDonald's, and I do support McDonald's. Cruz Petragon solidified that many, many years ago.
He did.
And I bumming some internet to do the show, and definitely want to support any business that I bum internet from. But the road's been good. There's been a lot of slow down and get over for me traveling from Tennessee now into Arizona and on into California. So looking forward to Gatornationals talk, looking forward to March Meet talk right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're talking drag racing here tonight, and we got a good one cooked up for you. Well, let us go to break here, and as we go to break, we're going to go to Weldon Pumps. We're going to pump you up as they do with many applications, and as it is drag racing season hitting the road now for the NHRA, Weldon Pumps going to get you to the finish line without blowing stuff up. Well, welcome back to the show, Megan. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I always love coming on here. So thanks for having me back, guys.
Pretty cool initiative you guys going on when you came on the show last, and you guys were able to showcase that in the capital of Florida. How did that go?
Yeah, we had a great turnout today, and we had both the dragster and funny car on display, which the funny car was just a last-minute addition. We originally did not plan on that. It was just going to be the yellow dragster. But we have been working on this for about a year and a half, and we're so excited to finally see it come to fruition, to get the funding to back it. And we've had a great time working with the Towing and Recovery Association of America, TRAA. So you will see that all over weekends. But it was so cool because we had a bunch of tows area. So we were in Tallahassee at the Florida State Capitol. And a bunch of towers that my dad knew from the past, and even people that we had never met before came to support our mission and to support the message of slow down and move over. And so in Florida, which the slow down move over law exists in all 50 states, it's a little bit different for each one. But for Florida, the law is if you see a police officer, ambulance, tow truck, construction workers, anybody that is on the side of the road, the law is you need to slow down at least 20 miles per hour, or if safe to do so, change lanes, or just do both, because that's the better option, right? And so it varies the speed for each state, but the speed plays a big role in this. We did have some members of the towing community that have lost family members share their story on stage as well today. And it's just heartbreaking because it's, sons and daughters and aunts and uncles and, all different family members that, just they can't come back home, and it's really heartbreaking. And that's how we lost my uncle. And, we're just trying to do what we can to spread awareness for this. So that way, we're just hoping to help save another life. So that way that person can go home to their family at the end of the day.
Well, Megan, it is certainly a cool initiative, and being in the sport, traveling, and you're on the road, and your dad's on the road, and everything y'all been involved with the, recovery business. I mean, you see it all the time. You need to get over. Someone's on the side of the road. It's everywhere. I mean, I've seen it probably 10, 15 times already in over several states traveling to get to Bakersfield. So it is certainly needed.
Mm-hmm.
Why, though, does this entity, this group, look at NHRA drag racing or drag racing, just period, as a platform, a conduit to, well, spread that message? Why does it fit so well?
Mm-hmm. Good question. So outside of the fact of our personal connections within the towing industry, because my parents started Meyer Truck Center 35 years ago. And so I've grown up since day one, both heavily involved in drag racing and in the towing industry. Like I said, my uncle, his family, they're all towers. And so it runs in our blood. So we had the connections there. But if you think about it, most tow truck drivers are race fans. So whether they do it themselves, whether that is drag racing or maybe, dirt track racing, they do it themselves. And so they are already involved in motorsports in one way or another. If they don't already race, then they're big fans. And so it just made sense when we first brought this initiative to TRAA. It's something that they had never done before. I am the first motorsports ambassador for this large group. And so, it's an honor to be able to kind of be the one to kick this off. And it's like, why didn't we do this sooner? Because it does make sense of why, towing and race cars go together. And if you think about it, we don't see it as much in drag racing, but you see it a lot in NASCAR. What do you use to get the cars off the track? Well, you use tow trucks. And so, growing up as a kid, when we weren't at the drag strip, we would get to all the time to go to the Kansas Speedway to go to the races there because my dad and his customers supplied the tow trucks for the track and for those big races. So it's just a real fit with the two industries.
Now, this is the first one. Will there be more in other states as well?
Good question. As of right now, no. But we are, working to find the backing to be able to do it. The press conference that we did today is something huge, but it does come with expenses. And so just like all the other teams, we are looking for funding, but we do it a different way. We don't just promote putting a sticker on the side of a car. We actually get very involved with the sponsors that we work with, whether that's in front of the camera or behind the scenes. And so we are, still looking for funding to be able to spread more awareness for this message. But we do also have, thankfully, we do have full-time sponsorship funding for the rest of the year with our other partners. And so you will still slow down, move over on our car in, other positions throughout the year. And what's really cool is you will see it on other race cars as well. And these are people that are not getting a cent from the industry. They just do it because they are, whether personally involved, like Sean Cowie, he's a tower as well, and he has had the slow down, move over sticker on his car for the past couple of years in support with us. And there's been a handful of other sportsman racers as well that are supporting the mission, and so we welcome that. And like I said, we're just trying to get the word out there, get drivers known about the law, and like I said, we are racing to save lives.
it's a great initiative. The car looks good. Certainly, people are going to be noticing what is stated on the side of that car. It is bright and it is yellow and it is loud out there, and shades of Eddie Hill with the nuclear banana for sure. And then the
Yes.
gray ghost of a funny car out there, the injected
I
nitro
like that
funny car,
name,
looking
the
good
Gray
as well.
Ghost.
It's pretty common. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been used before, but go ahead, Robin. Great portfolio and great lineup for Randy Meyer Racing, and to showcase this as a platform. And then also with everything you do with social media, and with social media and this platform, I think it's something that with all that you do and combining this, it certainly can be effective because, well, a lot of people, whether they should or shouldn't, spend time on their phones on the road. And what other
Yes.
better way to get, hey, guys, you're on the road, you see something, move over. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on engaging in people that way beyond the car with that message, with social media, with everything that you do? Because, again, that's really how we engage with people so much today.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it drives me absolutely crazy when I see people that are filming a video while they're driving. And it's just like, are you crazy? Like, and so me personally, I have been involved in multiple car accidents from distracted drivers hitting me. It's never my fault. And one of them was a very serious accident where my dad could have been seriously injured. There was a casualty there from the person that ran into us. And so, there's just so many different levels of how this is personal to us. And my uncle was the one that came there to save the day when my dad and I were stranded there with a car that was completely totaled. So yeah, it's like every time I see someone that like posts a video while they're driving, like I will comment on it. And I've even seen ads, like Facebook ads, from like well-known people, well-known companies that do that as well, because they're just too lazy to just pull over and do it in a parking lot, or too lazy to do it like while they're at home or in their office. And so I don't understand it. I don't condone it. And I will comment if I do see it, because it's just, it's reckless, and you don't know what can happen when you just take your eyes off the road because you're too busy trying to film yourself, or you're too busy scrolling on social media. Like it just drives me insane. I don't understand why people do it.
When I think of this initiative and what you just talked about there, this would be great to pair up with a brakes program with Doug Herbert, or any type of driving school. I think this is very educational for young drivers. It's something that you're worried about all the little things as far as law goes, and, stopping at a stop sign and making sure you're, yellow meaning caution and slowing down before the red light. But this here is something that I don't think is always talked about or looked at. And it's really a serious thing, especially being from in a form of work where we do a lot of things on the side of the road as well when it comes down to locating utilities. So have you guys thought about that possibility of broadening to get into driving schools and maybe pairing up with brakes to kind of promote both to help young drivers get an understanding early?
So driving school is not something we have thought of. So we will definitely put that into consideration. I have wanted to work more with schools, but I was thinking, high school, college. And I've done tons of STEM activities and bringing the cars to display at school. So very familiar with that side of it, but I never thought of actually the driving school. So that's a really good idea. So we'll definitely throw that in the loop. And mine is well known, like good friends with Doug Herbert from back in the day. And so we honestly like just haven't had the time to put something together yet. But we do have a lot of ideas, and that's definitely something because he was also personally affected. And so we could definitely work together on that.
Megan, speaking of social media once again and your prowess in that realm, training up many folks to do it better and engage and find partners in a program. Well, the NHRA announced an initiative that they're going to allow more influencers to have access to the line, to experience NHRA drag racing in that powerful and yet limited access way. So the NHRA announcing such an initiative like that, your thoughts on influencers from across the board being brought into NHRA drag racing and being allowed to expose it however they see fit to the world?
So I might have a controversial take on this. So for me, being an influencer and getting paid to post content, if I get invited out to an event, like that's fun, but like I have certain parameters around what I would post and what I would charge for that. And so I don't think creators would just come and do it for free if they have, you know, if it's like if this is their business, this is how they make their income. I don't think they would do it for free. And so I did not see anywhere on there where NHRA said there would be compensation like in the form of money. All I saw was they would just get access to the media room and they would get, you know, like restricted access to go onto the starting line, like a, you know, 3-day weekend pass. And so to me, it's like, that's cool, but I don't feel like that's enough. And so I don't know, like my personal take is NHRA is just trying to get free advertising out of these creators, and these creators and influencers and brand ambassadors, it's like they get bombarded every day by companies saying, hey, can you do this content for free? Or can I pay you $100 and you post this, or you make a video for me? And it's like, it, you know, if it's someone that has been in it for a couple of years, they've been through that and they know what their value is. If it's someone new, then they might jump at the opportunity, and that's fine. But eventually it's like, you know, I don't know what the value is fair there. So I want to hear, what do you guys think?
I think the NHRA is smart on their part, but I agree with you and what you are saying also from an influencer perspective, because one, I cannot help but think to content that I've done, and I'm like, starting line content's great, but behind the scenes pit content has gone viral over line content before, in my experience, and routinely so. And so NHRA, I think smart move. Like you said, get free, you know, advertisement if you can. I don't blame them for attempting to do that. But if you're an influencer, don't sell yourself short, because that can easily happen for the excitement of, oh, I'm getting line access. It's well, go on testing. You can get all you want. You don't have to.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one too, because I think people fail to realize that like these folks aren't getting a whole lot of money from posting it on TikTok or YouTube. They're not getting that kind of money from there. They're actually getting paid to do this content and produce this content, and you know, that's a little different, man. That's a little different, and I applaud them for opening that up. I kind of wish that the NFL would give fans access, but you know, fans who do their own content as far as media goes, but this is a little bit different. And my personal thing is do your work first and then have other people do on top of what you're doing. Don't try to ride the coattails of others to get your stuff promoted out there. You have to put in the work first. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dujane,
Yeah.
you know, with Megan, we're technically talking to like a semi-retired driver, all right? Okay. We hadn't talked about like driving plans this year. She still hops in the car, but she's not in NHRA competition for a championship year in, year out right now. And I don't blame her. But do you know she has like well over 100,000 followers on Facebook alone? Okay. Now I say that because there are professional top fuel drivers with multiple championships that haven't got over even the number that they need to go to the starting line as an influencer. What is the problem right now, Megan, in drag racing of people
Oh, I
holding
love
themselves
that.
back and not growing the sport in their own right by their own work in social
Yeah.
media? What's going on?
Yes, like we're so far behind. Like drag racers, like we need to step it up. And so yeah, like I don't know. Like I love, I know the social media managers, but like you still need to get like the drivers more involved. And like you said earlier, like they need to engage, they need to show their personality, they need to be vulnerable online. And that's something that like I just started doing early on. Like I didn't even know like what social media, like where it could take me down the road when it first came out. I just posted on there because I liked it. And because when I was studying graphic design, it was literally our homework assignment to make posts on social media. And so I just did it naturally about my dad's racing. Like it wasn't even about me at first. So I don't know. We're just so far behind, whether it comes to trying to get sponsors on social media. Like you can tell that it's not that person because they're not being authentic. You can tell like someone else wrote it for them. So I don't know. Like, and I understand the importance of having a social media manager because I do it for other teams that are outside of drag racing. It's definitely not as good as when you post it yourself. So I don't know. There can be a lot there.
And doesn't it come to a point where there's just, you have clients, but there is a threshold where you have too many clients and you can't really dedicate the quality material that you need for each client to have that great success for their social media platform?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, I'm actually cutting back from social media management. I was working with a wide variety of racers, like from sim racing to road racing to off-road racing to dirt track racing. Like I was covering every spectrum there. But I was falling behind. And so, there is that threshold there. And that, that's why I created a course in 2020 to teach racers how to get better at social media, because the companies and sponsors were coming to me and they're like, why can't our racers do good at social media? And so, with COVID, I was like, well, I might as well just do a course to teach racers how to do this. And so shameless plug, go to drivenbysocial.com. If you do want into that, it's only $19.99 a month. Yeah, like it's just honestly, I think drivers are just getting lazy. Like, and I actually had this conversation with someone else the other day, and it was like, back in the day, like the pro teams used to have their own display car and they used to always do displays. And it's like nowadays, like you never hear about that. Like, why is it that like the pro teams aren't doing displays? Like they aren't doing the stuff that got them those big sponsors years ago. And now you see them struggling and teams can't even do full seasons because they don't have enough funding. But it's like, I think they're only relying on, the broadcast coverage and saying that, hey, we're going to put your sticker on the side of my car because it's a moving billboard. But it's like, there's really no value in that. Like literally putting a sticker on your car is worth a penny. It's not worth that much at all, like per person that sees it. And so you really have to get creative about how you are building value for your sponsors. And for me, that's social media, but we do a ton behind the scenes that you don't see, whether that's helping them with their own writing or their own content or, you know, other B2B stuff. Like there's so much other ways you can do it, because as a sponsorship seeker, you are supposed to be solving a problem for them, not just saying, hey, I can advertise for you. And I can go on and about this, but we're probably running out of time.
Well, Dujanay, speaking of time, where are we with Mr. Bowser and
Bowser,
is he in yet?
Blake Bowser is in the green room and ready to go.
Okay, great. Well, Megan, very quickly before we let you go, we got to get over to Mr. Bowser and talk some March meet. The Randy Meyer Racing team racing portfolio this year in 2025. What can we look at out of Randy Meyer Racing?
Yes. So to answer everybody's question, this is our only race that we're doing with a funny car. We will not be running it anymore this year. And so it was just a last minute decision that Randy made. And so this is going to be Julie's last race again with our team. Other than the Dallas All-Stars, she's going to do that because she is the defending champion. And so we are going to have Matt Cummins in the dragster full time this year, and we've got a big sponsor announcement that's going to be debuting at Charlotte for him there. And then we have not released our second full-time driver, but that will be announced next week. I can say that she is a rookie, but she does have a lot of experience, and so we are very excited to bring her onto the team. And so she is going to make her national debut at Pomona. And then we'll just have her and Matt full-time drivers for this year. And then I will be doing the Top Alcohol Dragster race with Gary Pritchett at Cecil County in May.
Nice. Good stuff. Yes. Well, Megan, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. And we hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Yep. Thanks for having me back on.
Take care. Hey, tell Dad to hold a beer for me, okay?
Yeah. I'm sure they drank quite a few after last weekend's results.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and we're going to bring on Blake Bowser, and it's going to be a fun weekend. Monday Morning Racing is going to be there to cover it. And, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of there. And those people down there for this March meet will be hitting the red line. Why? They're trying to win. So what do they need for hitting the red line? Well, Red Line Oil is going to protect your car in all those big-time moments when you need it to be well protected. After this, Blake Bowser.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Blake, how's it going?
Hi guys, can you hear me okay? Making sure.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I got kind of the halo mood lighting going here, so I'm gonna have to ride it out though. Sorry about that. I'm up in the tower.
You're good.
This will work.
Hey, it worked. Hey, Mike English would say you're in the twilight. So.
Yeah, and Mike English stands right behind me, right there, and blows a lot of hot air right behind me. So I think it's still a little warm in here from all that. So I gotta unzip here, but. Yeah.
Going to be a busy weekend. Doing great, man. Doing great. Awesome. Drag racing is about ready to be in, as Monday Morning Racer would say, full song. You guys got an incredible event that's going to be going on over there. How many cars do we got coming into this thing? It's going to be a busy weekend for you guys.
Yeah, we're going to kick off the left coast and the right coast the same weekend, right? Got the Gators back east and the Good Vibrations March meet out west. So we're going to be around 400 cars. We'll probably have 50 or so nitro burning cars, different types, front motor, top fuel, funny car, fuel altered, and then everything in between all the way down, the altereds, rails, gassers, hot rod cars, car show, swap meet. It's just a big old giant get together, and we got a beautiful weekend forecasted. So we're excited.
Yes, absolutely. Been looking, paying attention to the weather, and it certainly does look good that we're going to have a good March meet. Blake, look, no stranger to having you on the show to talk March meet. No stranger in March meet happening. This is no new event, but what is some new news? What is some new tapestry, if you will, to March meet this year in 2025?
So one thing we're doing on Saturday, I just think right now everybody needs to feel a little better about where we are as a country, and so we're calling it what we're celebrating is red, white, blue, and you. We're celebrating the red, white, and blue, and you. The place is covered in American flags, and we're going to be giving away so much stuff to everybody in the grandstand. Actually, as you come in the gate, you're going to get a little American flag. All the gates will have those. We're going to have stuff we're giving away in the grandstands. We're going to flood the kids with free Hot Wheels. Just tons of giveaway stuff. We're going to have a parade Saturday night after we finish up running. Bring your golf cart, bring your scooter, bring your whatever you got. Decorate it out in red, white, and blue, and let's just have a good time. So we're sort of throwing that element in this year to the March meet. Of course, we're going to be burning a whole bunch of nitro. So that's the traditional, standby thing we always do. But we're just trying to bring everybody together and enjoy the fact that we're in one of the greatest countries in the world, and we're celebrating. We're racing one of the greatest motorsports there is drag racing. So we're just happy to do it, and we want everybody to come out and have a good time.
I know the last time you were on the show, you talked about doing some different things to kind of get people's enthusiasm back up for the March meet. Outside of that, what are those other little things as far as the racing goes, and how I'm sure people are pulling in already. How are people feeling, and what's the attitude and the mood?
Everyone's in a really great mood. Yeah, we probably moved in a couple hundred cars today. Started at noon today, finishing up here at 6 out here our time. So everyone feels great. I mean, I'm looking right now at the RV side. It's already got the front row almost filled and full, and the pits are filling up. And so we're in kind of a rebuilding mode for both the March meet and the reunion. And how we're doing something there. We did it last year. Also, kids are free. 15 and under, every kid come out. They're free. And we flood them with free stuff, have a good time. So we're just trying to build that foundation again and get these races. When they started, when like the reunion, for example, started in 92, there was guys that put it on that were in their 50s. Well, now they're 80, 90 years old, and we don't have some of those guys anymore. So we need to start bringing that next generation in. So the racing takes care of itself. That's always just so good out here. All the cars we have out here are so good, and the nitro cars that travel across the country, they're here from all over the place. And so we do that part. We just need to get the fans to come out and just get sucked up by it and get involved in it and get that dose of nitro, and then they're going to come back. So that's just kind of our approach this year, is keep bringing the kids out, bringing the families. We really try and sell the family atmosphere. Once you get in the gate, everything is free to go do. Car show, vendors, go to the pits, talk to racers. The racers are so good about putting the kids in the cars, and it's just old school grassroots drag racing.
Yeah.
Well, Blake, since the last time we would have had you on the show, there's been major announcements for yourself and Famoso Drag Strip in organizational means. So give us the breakdown there of what you are doing now, in particular with March meet and the California Hot Rod Reunion, and what's happening actually with the track for people who aren't in the know and they may be hearing it for the first time.
No, happy to update you. Yeah. So I'm going to go way back here. The facility the land is owned by our county, Kern County. And then there's a master lease to the property, which is NHRA. There's a sublease, which was me and my dad. I lost my dad last year in April. So I got through the year without him, and things just didn't feel right. I've worked my whole life with my dad, every job I've ever had with my dad. So it just didn't feel right. Towards the end of the year, Tim Huddleston, who operated Irwindale Drag Strip and the Oval Track, found out he knew most of the year he was going to be losing Irwindale. They're going to redevelop it into different real estate stuff, tilt ups, all that. So he purchased the oval track here in Bakersfield, Kern County Raceway Park, and was going to put in a drag strip. So we started talking about maybe he could try and bring some of his events up here, see if they work to justify building the track or not. And one thing led to another, and I got really involved with the reunion last year. Last year was the first time that we, the track, myself, put the race on and not NHRA. They turned the reins over to me, let me go. And that's a big task. We're trying to rebuild that thing too. So between that and the March meet, I'm busy. I'm not giving the track the attention it deserves. So I reached out to Tim, said, Tim, why don't we try it this way? Why don't you come here, see if you can, rather than put your races on, still do that, but put the ones on I have. Basically take the track over, turnkey, it's ready to go. Test all of your events, see if it works to just.
We had a blackout. Lost him a little bit. He was going into some good stuff.
It happens.
Yeah, he was going into some good stuff. And that sounds great. Them being able to have someone that's full time to think about and take over the track duties, and it really frees him up to do other things. And it sounds like a deal that will definitely inflate this track up to the top here. We'll see if we can get him back coming into the green room. But this is going to be good for the racetrack. It's going to be good for the racers. More events as well. That sounds really, really good.
Well, you have a situation that we don't like with Irwindale, and Huddleston moves up, and you've got even Kevin Harvick's involvement with the oval track there at Kern. And now you've got involvement over here at Famoso with Huddleston and working those things out. And if those brands grow together and are built together and work out together, that's good for Bakersfield. That's good for Famoso Drag Strip. That's good for Kern County Raceway. That's good for the entire area in motorsports.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so I think you guys got the gist of the story. So it just was a great chance for me to back up, run those races. I'm going to attempt to get a little more involved in the Heritage Race Series 2, help out there. Glenn Cromwell wants me to kind of do a little dabbling there. And we're just trying to elevate the series back up and just go forward. So, yeah, it's going to be it's a fun time. The track's in good hands, and I'm going to come back twice a year and put on 2 big events and have fun.
That sounds awesome. I think all benefit really, from the racers to the fans. Everyone benefits from this, and it can't do nothing but go up from here. So
you're right.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Tim had a budget set up to put in a drag strip out there at the oval track, so now he can take some of that and spin it out here at the current drag strip, Famoso. And like I said, the place is turnkey, ready to go. So if he put a little bit of money in the place, it's just going to elevate it that much more. So, and that's good for everybody. Good for the fans, good for the media, good for the racers. Just a win-win all the way around.
And news dropped today from what I saw. I think it was just today that Nitro Revival is going to be a part of the reunion. I mean, great pairing. Yeah. And with that announcement, it seems like, Blake, that Famoso Drag Strip in its history had got overlooked, but now it can't be overlooked. And it's almost becoming this bulwark, this bastion of the holdout in Southern California of we're still here and we're still racing. We're still burning nitro.
No, Lee, you're right, man. It's getting tough in California. I mean, we're just seeing the racetracks just shut down, and the world is slowly coming to us. So we're lucky that we're in the county we're in. It's a little different than Kern County. The Kern County a little different than the state. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get into politics, but our supervisors and our elected officials want to see this venue survive. So they're helping us in a lot of ways. They approved this move we did with Tim Huddleston quickly to help things go, and they know the potential this place has. And it's just, it's scary at the same, but it's also exciting at the same time. We're seeing what's happening, but it's going to be good for us in the long run. We just can't lose racers. The hard part about losing racetracks is when you lose racers, because that's their home track, right? When Irwindale shuts down or Sacramento shuts down, those people, that was their home track. Most of them stop racing. So we got to figure out a way to keep those guys coming, right? So that's our challenge going forward, is survive be the last man standing, so to speak, but we got to keep these racers coming.
I think you got
what you're talking about, Lee, the announcement we did with the reunion. Yeah. So we're bringing one of the victims of Irwindale shutting down was Steve Gibbs' Nitro Revival show. He had no home. He lost his home. He found a great home in Irwindale. It was perfect down there, but he lost his home. So I started working with NHRA, and I was kind of the conduit in between, see if we can get the parties to come together and join forces for the reunion. So we did it. We announced it today, and we are thrilled to have the Nitro Revival is going to be a major feature part of the Hot Rod reunion next year. It's going to be exciting, or this year, I should say.
Well, it sounds like you guys have the pieces to. It's more than just it's Famoso Drag Race and we race here, but you're starting to. This is going to be a destination now, and we all know what happens when places are destination. Well, when people go, people start talking about how great it is, and that enthusiasm draws more people to come to the drag strip. So it sounds like you guys have a really good formula right now of creating a destination for people.
And word of mouth is hard, because if someone does leave upset, they tell 10 people. If they leave happy, they tell 2. So it's a constant, you have to work to get that positive vibe out there and send enough people off in a positive manner so they will tell those people, and then they come. But, sometimes it's, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but we're getting there. You just keep going forward and keep plugging away and putting on good shows like this weekend's March Meet, and people walk away going, well, that was cool. That was a lot of fun. We saw a lot of things. It's kind of a throwback in time. We're celebrating the history out here in that respect, but we're still burning. The nitro still smells the same, whether it comes out of a front motor top fuel car or a contemporary, top fuel car. That nitro still smells the same, and it's great.
Speaking of contemporary top fuel, Blake, the announcement was made at PRI, and we expect even more on the announcement and follow-up that Raul Torres in South Georgia Motorsports Park, they're going to get the Peach State Showcase of Speed, an NHRA match race, if you will. Right. And when I heard that announcement, I said, I know of a drag strip in Bakersfield that might be able to fit the bill for something like that. Would that ever be on the table for Famoso Drag Strip?
Oh, certainly. I think we'd be open to something like that. We're here to entertain people. We got to keep entertaining the fans. We got to keep bringing in new fans. And if there's an event that brings in a different crowd, which, we do have a different following when it comes to a national event and, shows like that. So we just got to keep the track exposing itself to different avenues of people, right? So we can keep, Tim's going to bring in the no prep crowd in May next a couple months, or May, I think it is. So we're just trying to continue to bring in those diverse crowds, because that's where you're going to survive. You got to keep bringing in different groups, different age groups, different ethnicities, everything. Well, we do import face-off here. That brings out a certain crowd. We do all these races we do out here brings out a certain type of person. And I think you got to have them all to survive. You can't rely on just one group of people anymore. So, we'd be open to it. Certainly that's a Tim Huddleston decision, or if it became part of one of my events, the March Meet or the Reunion, then we can look at that. But there's some quality tracks out here in the western part of the United States. Firebird Raceway in Boise, Idaho is one of them. They could handle it, and they could be part of one of their night fire race, or this be part of the Reunion or something like that. So it'd be fun to do. It'd be, the Reunion falls right in line with coming out here and then going over to the PR or SEMA show, and then the national event, or other way, I think it's the way around, right? National event, then SEMA show, then off to Pomona. So, a swing like that would make some sense. So we definitely be up something like that, and it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, before we let you go,
Yep.
Please tell everyone what your schedule is for this weekend and when they can come out and support this great event.
Yeah, well, we're going to try and start tomorrow with a test and tune for all of our Group 1 and Group 2 competitors. That's all of our A gas, B gas, C, out the door cars, all that. We might be getting a little wet tomorrow. If so, we're going to shove that to Thursday, but we've got 4 days after that of drag racing planned. It's this weekend, March 6 through 9. Tickets available at the gate. Just walk right up. It's $40 to get in for the whole entire day. And you can see everything. I mean, the seating, we got plenty of seating. Again, there's a car show, vendor row, swap meet, pits are open. It's all here. Huge amount of food and beverage stands. Again, we're a little bit of a throwback looking facility, but we are contemporary in every way as far as safety equipment, the track surface, everything we have here, all the timing, everything is all up to snuff, contemporary. And but we like to act kind of like we're in 1970 all over again. So just come on out and have a good time. Walk right up, get a ticket, and we'll love to have you come in.
That's awesome, man. Blake, thank you so much for taking the time.
All right, guys.
You guys are so busy. Have a great race weekend, and you've got one of the best coming out there to help cover this thing.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be
we got the
Blake,
room ready for you over there to be able to do your reports and send them in, and we'll be good, man. Have some fun. Come out and we're looking forward to see you come out, and we got to get you out here too. Come on, both of you guys got to come out.
Definitely. That is a bucket list for sure.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Blake.
See you, Blake.
Hey, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Man, it's going to be awesome. It's great to hear that type of stuff, and it's great to hear the forward thinking. And I think if more did that, we wouldn't have tracks, losing or being taken away. So it's nice to hear that. And like I said, with what they're doing, they are creating a destination for people, a place where people want to go, and that people who have not been, those who have been, will be talking about it and encouraging them to come. So this is all exciting.
It really is. With everything that's happening in California towards motorsports and well beyond in so many ways, you look at Famoso Drag Strip and where it is situated. It is Southern California, but it's not Southern California in the sense of obviously San Diego or LA. It's up and over the mountain and down in the valley. But that is enough of a barrier, a wall, if you will, to give it a safe place. And I'm glad that is a reality there in Kern County, and with the people that are of that community, that they realize how important that facility is. And as other communities devalue motorsport, the ones that do value motorsports, they are certainly going to win. So, drag race fan, if you can support Famoso Drag Strip in whatever way that you can, do it. It's one of the reasons why this year I am going to March Meet. Nothing against the Gatornationals. It is a major of this sport. It is a major of the professional level of this sort of drag racing. I've been there many times, been blessed to be there many times. It's going to have plenty of exposure. Right. And I'm not saying that just because MMR shows up, Comp Plus is there, that you've got all the exposure you need, but just a little bit more doesn't hurt for the March meet during this time. So, though it would have been easier to go southeast from Tennessee, I've gone like due west to the March meet, to Bakersfield, California, to cover this historic event. And that's something, honestly, if I may say, Dujanay, to everyone out there, in particular to you, the media, maybe, just maybe, realize where you could be the most helpful. Sometimes there's an event that's got all the media it really needs. Go somewhere else.
That's true. That is a good point.
So right now, for example, like I haven't found a funny car sponsor for my coverage. I've got Hilton Hot Rods and Ross Racing Engines. They stepped up to cover the Top Fuel coverage. And I've also got Fuel Altered Chaos, which will be an event November 14th and 15th at Tucson Dragway. They've stepped up for the Fuel Altered coverage. But right now, I don't have a funny car partner. And this trip, it may be just a break-even trip if I don't find that partner, honestly. But to me, the value of supporting what's happening is real, and it is important. And if we're going to be on shows like this and we're going to say save motorsports or go to the track or buy a ticket or do these things, well, you and I, we need to live up to that, and we need to put that into motion and support racing with our coverage. And sometimes that's also not the biggest of events that you have on your calendar as well. Now, in your case, look, Gatornationals, you're going, that's right down the road at work, your work schedule, certainly not bashing anything you're doing, or I don't bash what anyone else is doing. And like, we expect to see you at South Georgia Motorsports Park for Southeast Gassers Association drag racing right down the road from you. So those type of things. But nonetheless, people out there in media, take the time to go somewhere a little different and showcase the sport if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's important. And that's why when I saw that Sega was coming here, I was like, there's no doubt that I have to be there, because they weren't coming this far before. And so for them to come here, it's going to be uber important. That's why we're going to have Leslie on next week, right behind Ida for the Not Bland show next Tuesday, to promote this event and get people to come out. I know that Valdostans will, and the surrounding will come out and support this event. They always support everything that comes out. It's there at South Georgia Motorsports Park, but we want to get even more people to come out to this event that I think is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm actually looking, no disrespect, but I'm actually looking forward to it more than I'm looking forward to Gainesville, actually.
And look, that me as well, you know, my time in the sport, I've got to a point where, look, I love NHRA drag racing, but there's plenty of fine people that work at that level, and I can work and make a living in motorsports at other levels of drag racing and have a whole lot of fun doing it, whether that is with Murph McKinney at McKinney Corp, whether that is, you know, Competition Plus with Bobby Bennett, whether it is Chris Graves, especially with Chaos and Chaos Nation, and now, you know, Leslie Horn and Southeast Gassers Association as well. So I'm not concerned about chasing something that I've already been at and in and involved with, and looking forward to events beyond the NHRA, because drag racing is more than just the NHRA. We all exist and operate under an umbrella that is the premier, the NHRA, establishing standards and protocols. But nonetheless, you can do a whole lot of drag racing and never show up to an NHRA national event, regional event, divisional event, invitational event, or even just a powwow event or any other event imaginable. You can still have a lot of fun in drag racing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be some really good stuff coming up here this weekend. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to kind of dive into some of the things, testing and some of the other things that have happened over this day and coming up into this weekend, as we look ahead to a really huge weekend in drag racing. And we'll talk about it right after this word from Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It is that time of year. If you are not involved, let's do it. Let's get involved. You don't need to know anything about this sport, really. You could be a soccer fan, a baseball fan, a hockey fan, and never have watched a day of drag racing in your life. You're probably better for it, because those of us who have, we overanalyze way too much. So if you want to know how you can do that, here's how you can.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
I'm Dave McClelland. Joining me here at the Gatornationals and Gainesville Raceway, Frank Farino. Frank, we've seen some great racing so far.
We've seen some incredible racing so far. There's going to be more excitement to come. The crowds have been beautiful. The weather's been beautiful. I think Gainesville is a perfect spot for this little race, big race, as a matter of fact. I think before this weekend is over, we're going to see an absolutely sensational race.
One of the things to look for, we've seen the first 5-second time ever here at Gainesville Raceway, and in final eliminations, which we'll be covering here today, I'm sure you'll be seeing more of them.
I say it's the NHRA.
I say it is the NHRA, and unlike you guys over there on the West Coast, pretty weather is exactly on the docket right now.
I heard that. I heard that the Gatornationals, the Gatornationals can have spectacular weather. And then it can have wetter weather.
Yes.
Most of the times, and I have been there for all of it, and you can get all of it in one weekend.
You can.
So what are we looking at, Mr. Bland?
Well, Friday looks great. Saturday has been wishy-washy. Looks like they'll get a full day of qualifying in as the rain comes in at night. But Sunday looks like a complete washout. Looks like the rain would start early in the morning and wouldn't get out until 2 o'clock or thereafter. If it's that late that the rain pulls out, even if it's 1 o'clock, it's going to take hours for them to get that track back in order. Probably going to have to strip it and bring it back up because of the amount of water that would have been on the track. It looks like that doesn't happen on Sunday, and Monday really doesn't look much better. We might have either a Monday midday or a Tuesday race here with the way things in this weather looks to be playing out as of today.
Well, let's hope that changes and it becomes more favorable.
Yes.
Again, I've experienced it so many times, though. You look at a forecast, and you're like, oh, we're not racing this weekend. And by the end of the weekend, you're like, man, that was a great race. We got it all in and didn't even see a lick of rain. Then I've also looked at it like, man, we're going to have a great weekend. We don't got nothing to worry about. Like, well, how are we going to make that race up? So It is out there across the board. You never know what is going to take place in, the forecast, the weather, the profession in which you can professionally lie and still keep your job.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Right.
It's a guest.
Good one here. Do you think that the Funny Car Chaos or Southeast Gassers type of event at Famoso could happen?
All right. So type of event, I will say yes. Type. Because if I may put it, the formula is not patented. It's clear and it's evident you could do what is being done. Someone would just need to start a West Coast Gassers and have the very strict rules. And someone could do a chaos out there. Chris attempted it. There were some scheduling conflicts and didn't have a committal from enough people to run that Nitro Chaos. It was going to be a Nitro Chaos standalone at Famoso Drag Strip. But there was excitement. And, the formula with Chaos, other people can do it. I've thought, like, what if we had Gasser Chaos? And you've got all these different types of Gassers come together. Some of them may not be real Gassers, as some would account of Sega style, and others may count their Gasser as such and it not be, or it could be. But you put them in that 8-field format in A, B, C, D, and run them off heads up. And it is fascinating how the competition narrows and the storylines that come about. I don't know how many times we have seen in chaos racing that car is the car to beat, and yet that car is not the one that wins the overall event. Again, go back to Del Worsham, first Funny Car Chaos Classic. He sets Funny Car Chaos record in speed and mile per hour, and he is on a rail. Looks like nobody has anything for him yet. In the final round, he had to pedal. Kyle Smith drives A to B in his methanol burning funny car and beats the big bad nitro car. So anything can happen. But far as type, anybody could implement that. Now, specifically, Southeast Gassers racing at Famoso. Well, no, because those guys would be towing from the Southeast. Most of the Southeast Gassers Association racers, they're situated upstate South Carolina, Western North Carolina. There's a big pocket in Alabama. There's actually a decent pocket of racers in Indiana. But nonetheless, it's all very east. And the schedule that the Southeast Gassers Association already has is one that stretches those racers in traveling. Some travel a bit further than others, depending on what race. But nonetheless, they've got a pretty far schedule when you look at like wherever their home base might be, whether it's Alabama, upstate South Carolina, Western North Carolina. So this is what I think could happen if there was enough tow money to get like the entire A-gas field. I think that would work out. I could see Leslie Horn going for something like that and being part of an event such as a March meet for the Southeast Gassers Association. That would be cool to see. But a Southeast Gassers Association event at Famoso, I don't think that would happen. The tow money that would have to be involved, there would have to be major sponsors. And I like to think that with Blake Bowser and Chris Graves and the relationship that's there, that Chaos and Famoso isn't dead yet. I cannot say to that fact anything beyond that. I just think. But nonetheless, you've got Chris Graves doing Fuel Altered Chaos, which is sponsoring the MMR March meet coverage of Fuel Altered this year. It's going to be taking place November 14th, 15th at Tucson Dragway. So maybe there is a Western Chaos that is just Fuel Altered in the future. You do not know. You do not know.
Anything's possible. Drag Race Mayhem says, wait till someone brings a Pro Mod Gasser.
Well, I mean, okay, fine. Here's the beautiful, but again, let's take that under, like gasser chaos, if you will. Let's run what you brought. The rule there might be it has to look like a gasser, but you could bring anything you wanted, and you put it in the field, you qualify, you see what happens. And again, I have seen so many times that you've had people win that weren't supposed to win. Now, you look at what the Southeast Gassers Association is doing. One reason why I think they're the premier gasser outfit out there. There are fine gasser outfits beyond Sega, but I think the premier one is Sega, and that's because they do have the strict rules that they have concerning appearance and combination for those cars in Sega competition.
Okay, that makes sense. Andrew says tarp the track like they do in baseball. I think that's possible. Only thing you'd have to worry about is drainage, and that making sure that the water gets to the ports and out and not onto the racing surface. But even if it got on the outside of the racing surface, as long as it's not in the groove, that's special. That'll work.
I don't disagree with them. I've always thought, like, what if we did have a tarping system, like baseball? It would be interesting. It would be intriguing. Granted, I think there are some logistics at play that would have to be worked out. You also do get to a point, though, where you might have kept the track dry, but atmospherically it is still soaking stuff in.
The humidity.
Okay. You know, there is that aspect as well. And you can't think of the track as just like this single flat layer. There are layers upon layers upon layers. That's why when it does get wet and you do lose the track, that's why scraping has to happen, because you'll have moisture seeping through the layers of a drag strip, and that's why it has to be, you know, reworked and made back up to go back racing. But yeah, look, I don't disagree. I've wondered, like, what if we could get there in enough, like, if we know the weather's coming, would it help? Would it save? Or is it not worth it because it's not going to save enough time and preparation?
Right.
No one's really attempted it from what I can tell.
See, I think I think being that you said that, now you'd have to have like some kind of system that either applies some kind of moving air or some kind of heated air to keep the temperature level at a good rate along the track, that it does not develop any humidity, and that humidity and moisture buildup between the tarp layer and the track. So it can be done. I would hate to think what the cost would be to try to do that, but I bet it can be done.
You know, the cost. Also, would we have to use a different material as a tarp, something that has a non-stick surface?
Right.
Because we're talking about grass to a sticky surface. You know, again, we've got the hypotheticals rolling. I'm sure there's people out there right now like, yeah, this not worth it, guys. This is not worth it. That's why we haven't done it.
Right. Yeah. You know, I've seen I think it was the year where people were getting buried out there, and they were towing people out of there when we had all that rain. It got cold.
I've seen that.
And we came in Sunday, and I think I looked at you and I looked at that track, and I was like, I think I got a picture of it somewhere. I was like, there's no way anybody's getting down that track. It looked just like you could see the racing surface. There was hardly any rubber on that track. And the first pair down, they go wide open, low 60s, over 330. It was wild. And it was a great day of racing.
Right. You looked at it and you're like, oh, this is going to be a blank show. And they went out there and teams sent it. There was nothing wrong with the track. Now, did a few miss it? Yes, but there was nothing wrong with that track. I think that's the weekend Doug Foley went to the finals. I think it's that same weekend.
Yeah. Well, was it him and Trip Tatum?
Yes. Trip won. Yep.
Yeah. That was a wild weekend, and it was amazing to see the fact that track actually came around. You know, there were some noticeable people missing today, and I had Nicole brought that up. Brittany wasn't out there. There was no sighting of the Capco boys. I don't know whether some of these people are not coming out. No Mike Salinas. It was only Jasmine. I don't know whether some of these people aren't out because they are planning. Maybe they're only going to do one day of testing, and maybe that's going to be Thursday. But there were some noticeable people out. There were some good, solid numbers run. Both the Coletta cars, which was driven by Sean Langdon, because, you know, Doug's is taking care of that little business that they've got going on there. I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but they're taking care of that. So both of those cars ran pretty well. Caps looked decent. We see Matt Smith late run a really nice number in Pro Stock Motorcycle. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow if the weather can hold off here. We got some severe weather blowing in. It should blow through pretty quickly, and they should be able to get some kind of testing in tomorrow, unless they just decide to can it and move on to Thursday. But some interesting stuff, and I think NHRA TV, they showed a lot of their cameras today. Looks a lot more crisp. I was able to come home and watch the rest of it on the big screen, and man, it's really, really crisp, and the sound quality is a lot better. And yes, no Beckman, no Wilkerson as well out there. So I was kind of surprised at that.
I saw where Alexis made a hit. I don't know if that happened today or if it was the day before, but I saw Alexis made a hit.
Yeah, they went out the first time and couldn't get the thing in reverse. So that one had to be aborted. Will Smith out there trying to get a license in funny car.
Okay, cool.
Julie Natus out there. I think her last pass was a really nice one as well. She's out there trying to get her funny car license, trying to be the woman version of Alex Laughlin. So
okay, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires with those two, especially her. By the way, she handled that. Had the first pass or first hit. It got a little squirrely, got over towards the wall. She did an excellent job of handling that race car, and the next pass was very clean though. Very good stuff. Ron Capps bringing out, looking like Matt Hagan with a green body, supporting I forget the tool company that works with Napa that he is going to be displaying this weekend. I didn't think they would bring that body out during testing, but they did. Looks pretty good, man. It's kind of weird seeing him in green. Look kind of like the old Brute car.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I remember when like 2 times a year we get a special Ron Capps Napa scheme. Like, I'm a big fan of the Napa brakes, the gold and black.
Yes.
That
one was good.
He'd race. Yes. Really like that one. But that's going to be good to see that those are coming back. And who was Julie testing with? Whose car was it?
That is Del Worsham.
Oh, Dale's car. Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Very.
So Bobby Bodie in that car during the shootout, and Julie testing, which is not strange. Dale or licensing. Dale licenses a lot of folks. A lot of folks can trace back their license and their time to getting their license to a Dale Worsham Top Fuel or a funny car for sure. But interesting, people doubling up and what they're attempting to do and try to make their way in the sport, such as Will Smith. Who was Will Smith testing or licensing with or attempting to?
I think it was with the Smiths.
Oh, so okay, yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. They made good pass. I think he had a good pass on his last one. First one, they did 3, and the first 2, I think they went up in smoke early in the second one, but the last one was good though. Last one was really good.
All right.
So I'm excited to see what happens and what transpires with those two. Andrew says bold predictions for the up and coming NHRA season. He said, I think there will be first time champs in all classes. Also picks for Gainesville.
That is very bold, sir. That is very bold. Cotton, that is a bold strategy,
Yes.
as it's been declared. But look, right now, unless something changes, I just think it's very hard to go up against the Proc Rocket and bet against those competitors. I think Top Fuel is way too competitive to take anything from last year. It is way too competitive to peg anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then we saw what we did in the shootout. That the final was 2 competitors that certainly capable, but nobody picked Sean Reed and Josh Hart to make the final of that race.
Absolutely not.
I'm glad it happened. Do not misunderstand me. Certainly capable teams, cars, drivers, but people were picking a Sean Langdon, a Doug Coletta, a Brittany Force, a Antron Brown, not Sean Reed and Josh Hart. So I don't know about that. And until until some young whippersnapper can finally knock off the old man, Greg Anderson just keeps hanging around and keeps being competitive. And I mean, they all regret whatever he found like 2-3 years ago when he thought, I need to get out and retire. And then he's like, I found something. Whatever he found, like, everybody else needs to find it because it works.
It does. It does. I think what Drag Race Mayhem, you're very close to what I would pick. The only thing I would change, I've got Justin Ashley as well. I've got Proc until he proves otherwise that it's not. Dallas Glenn is my pick also, but I've got Matt Smith. I think those 4 bikes under his umbrella are going to be a menace to society in the pro stock motorcycle ranks. I think they will have their S together, and they will provide the competition needed to make this thing interesting this year. Vance and Hines. They're going to be there and do what they do. When you look at Gainesville, though, this race is always hard, being that it's the first race of the season. It has changed the whole dynamic of how I look at this thing. And to be honest, I hate to say this, but to be honest, it literally is anybody's race, especially in Top Fuel. I think you could see Antron Brown or Justin Ashley step up and just take it. But I also look at what we saw in Bradenton, and Sean Reed, they've got their S together. You look at Josh Hart and what they were able, that rinse and repeat that they were able to do. If they can, looks like with the weather this weekend, you don't really need to have a low 60 to win a race. You can win it with some 70s. And they were able to do that with a lot of 71s. If they can be consistent, they could be there. I think they're going to be very much improved, and probably would be my most improved team for the year. If we're going to go there, I would make them most improved for the year, because I think that you're going to see a major change. They've got Joe Barlam over there, which was not announced, by the way, which I'm very surprised, along with the whole band is back together again over there at Josh Hart Racing with that RL Carriers Top Fuel Dragster. So I really do see a great improvement. Ron Douglas seems to have the MF back between Ron and Douglas. I'll let you guys figure out what that is. They showed that at Bradenton. So I'm really interested in seeing that. I don't think we see an immediate change from Erica Enders right now. I really don't. I don't think there's a complete turnaround and we see this dominance or resurge to dominance that we saw 2 years ago. I think it will be a slow build, but how slow will it be? Because I think there's just too many other, you add another Coughlin to the mix in KB now. That we'll see how that builds. Troy, I think, is poised to bounce back as a racer, and his car to be able to bounce back this year. And there's so many other tough cars over there on the elite side. But then you look at Greg, you look at Dallas. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough sledding, and I think the one to watch though is actually Camry Caruso. I'd like to know what they've been doing all off season, but I think they're prepared. I believe you have Jim Yates back over there with them. So I think she's been out for a while. She's hungry. I know she's passionate about what she does. And I think she's going to be extremely hungry being out for that long, and then being able to come back here and kind of set the tone and be able to, start off and hit the ground running. So we'll see how well they do as far as qualifying goes, but I expect them to be a team too that could be much improved as well.
Solid. And I will say my focus is on March meet, so I'm not picking anything concerning the Gators. Everybody have fun over there on the East Coast in sunny Florida. But in the field, there at Famoso Drag Strip, I think that we're going to see Drew Austin win in Funny Car. I think we're going to have Tyler Hilton finally pick up a March meet victory, as he is now shooting for his fourth or fifth, however many straight championships it is. And it may be the easy one, but I just think because of the competitor that he is, Johnny West and Fuel Altered will pick up that win. So Johnny West, Fuel Altered, Tyler Hilton, Top Fuel, Drew Austin in Funny Car. March meet.
Yeah. I like that. And it's what do they do 16 car fields, or are they bigger than that?
Well, it depends on how many cars, but typically Top Fuel is 8, Fuel Altered is 8, and 16 will be Funny Car.
Ooh, 8 car fields are tough, man. I kind of like them too, though. That makes it real interesting.
Very, very, very.
That makes it real interesting. It's
yes, very tough,
too, man. it's very much cutthroat.
It's tough.
Yeah. So, I hope that there's great weather for you guys out there, and man, that is definitely a bucket list. That's a race I want to get on the docket and get out there and see, because I love anything that's old school. That's some fun stuff to watch.
It is a neat setting and so much history, beautiful cars, great racing action, and there is something special. I don't know why, but there is just something special to quarter mile racing at Famoso Drag Strip. I'm not this guy that is like quarter mile, but it is just so cool at Famoso March meet, and that's all that I've experienced. Seeing those neo nostalgia hot rods legging it all the way out through the quarter mile, it is very cool to experience it.
Yeah, and it seems like it has that feel too. Like, you know, the drag strip is just like it's taking you back in time. I love places like that.
Mm-hmm. It does, and they've got some special elements to that track. I think of the Grove. They've got these trees that you can walk in the midst of. It's like a midway, but you got trees around you, and the trees are dedicated to living and past greats of drag racing. You know, there's a tree dedicated to Steve Evans. There's a tree dedicated to Don Garlitz. There's a tree dedicated to this person and that person. And, you know, you're kind of walking in this living memorial of drag racing. And it's cool. It's cool. And right off, you've got a car belching nitro in a warm-up, and you're gagging, hoping that, you know, the tree will oxygenate you, but you can't. So, yeah, it's perfect, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to get out of here. He's got to get moving, and I've got to get some shut-eye. So we appreciate all of you in the comment section, you know, who participated tonight and tuned in. Such a blessing to have you guys really support the show. Without you, this is not possible. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you to Blake Bowser and Megan Meyer for taking the time to come on the Power Hour, episode 210. All right, buddy, we need to let you get down the road, and to everyone, good night, and we'll leave you with a commercial from Peak and an interesting video before we close out of here.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
Some of the racers weren't quite so lucky as to make the finals, but no one was injured seriously here at the Gatornationals.